He is an Aquarian sun. He does have Venus in Aquarius conjunct his midheaven. I'm sorry, conjunct his sun, and he's got a 20-degree Aquarian midheaven. Uh, for all intents and purposes, I'm sure he's very personable. Ninth house, probably philosophical, gregarious. And he has Mars and Leo, which is kind of, I think this is interesting. This is where his acting shit comes in, because he's an actor. Remember, he was an actor who played a president, and now he's a president. He was an actor that played a president on TV, who became an actor playing president in real life. So you can see sort of the acting chops here. Moon and Leo, Mars and Leo. Leo, of course, being the sign besides Pisces, I think are the two great signs for being an actor for me, are Leo and Pisces. So he's got some of it baked in here. He's got a Moon Neptune trine, which makes him very adaptable emotionally. He can be very dramatic, but that Mars is retrograde. So hasn't he left? Has he split? I wouldn't trust this guy to defend the country at all. Not with a Mars retrograde in Leo. No. He wants to go back to Cancer. He wants to find security. He wants to find safety. This guy's not into fighting. He's not into fighting at all. It's interesting that he has Jupiter here on the ascendant in Gemini. So he plays actor president. He's perfect for the role. Like how perfect, he's totally perfect. With Jupiter on the ascendant, he's kind of running two personas here. He's got Saturn coming up on his midheaven. So this is an interesting time for this dude, because Saturn is this call for action on the midheaven. It's like, okay, I'm going to take center stage now. And he's got this Saturn Moon opposition. That's very interesting because, let's say, for instance, this guy does have some love and some feeling for his country, right? There's a chance that he does. Maybe he said to himself, I'm the best person to do this, to play this role, because somewhere down the line, I might be able to do something where I might be able to help these people. And I can play the part, right? But let's say he does have some kind of feeling for Mother Ukraine. He just might. So guess what? You got the Saturn Moon opposition. And with Saturn, which you're always dealing with in opposition, you're dealing with the forces that are coming at you. These are the changes that are being impinged upon you, or the pressure that's coming externally. So he has external pressure right now. And he has external pressure to do probably what he's told, right? And it's opposing his moon. His moon is saying, hey, look, I feel for these people. I think, whatever, this guy's got some soul. I do think he's got some soul. He's got a nice Moon Neptune trine. It's not bad. He could go off script with a Moon Uranus square. This dude could totally go off script. I don't think he's Rambo, not with that Mars in the third house, which is skittish. Like Mars in the third house has a lot of nervous energy, and it doesn't want to stay in the third. Doesn't want to go back to the second house. It wants to go back to this safe space, right? That's what Mars is doing. And it's opposing Venus, and it's opposing his sun, which he's supposed to have this front. He's supposed to be this humanitarian, progressive dude. And his Mars doesn't want really any part of it. And it's squaring Chiron too in his chart. So he's Chiron and Taurus. He's not even really in his body most of the time. So interesting chart, interesting character. Now, remember when they decided to flip the script in Ukraine, where was the true node? It was in Libra, but it was much further. It was closer to, probably closer to Spica than here. His Pluto closer to where Mars was, and the truth. So he's ultimately kind of the recipient of this regime change, but just based on this alone, which is pretty interesting. I don't think he'd be I think it'd be hard to be in a relationship with this guy, with Neptune over here, conjunct the descendant, although it's not necessarily bad. He's got a nice trine. I mean, I think he's got some kindness to him. He's probably got some soulfulness to him. The affliction here is with Jupiter and opposing, like doing more, promising more, being more than he can actually deliver. Like, he's probably got more than two personalities. This guy might have a number of personalities with a Jupiter-Neptune opposition. But his Neptune isn't terribly afflicted, although I'm not crazy about it being over here, conjunct the descendant, unless, I mean, that can be a good position if you have worked through a lot of your personal shit and you have somebody in your life who can be very Neptunian and very soulful. As you know, you're talking about twin flame territory, but you have to get there. And who knows, he might have that in his chart. He does have Mercury and Capricorn in the 8th house. So he is used to dealing with people behind the scenes with power. And the sextile with Uranus is a very quick move. And they very quickly inserted this guy into this position of power. He might be one of these characters that decides to go off script and go off the res. He could do that with Saturn conjuncting his midheaven, trining Jupiter in his chart. He might believe that somewhere that he's going to have to stand up for his country with the Saturn opposition, which will start to begin to move into place by the end of the year. It'll be interesting. If that's the case, he won't last long. They'll take him out. They'll bring in another robotoid. No, seriously, they'll take him. If this guy believes that he somehow has to do something to protect his people in the country that, he's connected to, he could go rogue. He could feel really like, hey, look, I've got this power. Unless, of course, he's sequestered in some kind of a room somewhere and they're just running the siege. Yeah, I don't know. And anybody who thinks they know, right? Like, you better be careful. You better be very careful here because we're really in uncharted territory. But based on that chart, what I'm seeing with that guy and that guy's chart, he's got a little bit of heart. I think he cares about, with that moon in Leo, I think he actually cares about people. That moon is, fairly close to the 4th house cusp, 3rd house, 4th house cusp. He's got Jupiter in the 1st house. He's expansive, but who is he, right? Which persona is he giving you? The actor is president is actor, both. So keep your eye on him. He's an interesting character. If something happens to him, I guarantee you he decided that he was going to go off script and try to do something very Aquarian and unify his country. Who knows? That's how I would see it. Because right now he's got that Saturn moon opposition and these forces are coming in. They're hitting his moon, right? His ability to feel, his passion, because moon Leo is passionate. And he's going to go through that Saturn opposition, which is a big change and a big shift in his life. Like, I guarantee you, he won't be president of Ukraine by the time his Saturn opposition is over. And if he is, he'll be president of a different kind of Ukraine. But I'd say his reign is coming to an end. As it exists now, it'll have to be different. That's what happens with the Saturn opposition.
This is Robert Phoenix, and you can have your Phoenix Fix 6 days of the week with myself and all the sharp, witty, and wonderful people of Chatlandia. Monday through Thursday, it's 15 minutes of flame from 8:45 to around 10:30. This is where I do a morning mash of current events, cycles, and trends to give you my undilated perspective. Then there is the Friday Farcast from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. CST. This is where I get into some of the past and present day high strangeness with my provocative guests. Nighttime is the right time for Sunday Night AstroLive from 7:45 p.m. Central Standard Time to around 10 o'clock. From JFK to John D. and John McAfee, this is the night when I'm diving deep astrologically, sometimes solo, sometimes with some of my inspirational cosmic friends. There's even more at robertphoenix.com. You can read an assortment of my articles, book your astrology reading, take my astrology course, and join my newsletter. It's a great way to stay in touch as all these other prohibitive changes happening on various social media platforms make it more difficult for creators like myself. If you've liked what you've seen and heard, consider supporting my broadcasting by donating. Details are below in the description, or become a member at robertphoenix.com, where you'll gain access to discounts, webinars, and members-only events and content. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, and commenting. This really helps out. Use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to stay open to what's possible.